In today's video, we're talking check-ins. Welcome to the video, guys. My name is Tyler, also known as the Fit Chemist, and I help people take control of their lives by taking control of their fitness and nutrition habits so that ultimately we can lead healthier and happier lives. So if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing. Turn those notification bells on so you don't miss when I post new videos. And if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad that you are here. Some of you may know, some of you might not know, but despite being a full-time graduate student, I am actually an online personal trainer and fitness coach as well. I feel like the concept of an online personal trainer is still sort of new, and some people might not necessarily know what that entails. You know, we're sort of shifting into this era of just online everything, especially with COVID the last year. But I figured what I'd do in this video is show you exactly what a coaching call, or a check-in as I like to call it, looks like with me. So if you're someone who reached out to me about coaching already, there's probably a good chance that I sent you this video so that you get an idea of what an actual check-in is going to look like. However, maybe you discovered me on Instagram or on YouTube and you're just curious about how I go about helping people. Hopefully this video will give you a better idea on how I do that, and I don't know, maybe after seeing this you might be interested in hiring me as a coach as well. Either way, let's get into it, and make sure you stick around to the end, because after I break down what a check-in is going to look like, I'm actually going to include some footage from an actual check-in. So to start, I do all of my calls over Zoom. I feel like it's more personable, it's a little bit better to have that face-to-face interaction, and there are some times where I actually share my computer screen and show you what I am doing so that way you can learn from me. So I actually split my check-ins into two sections. So I do a nutrition section and then a workout section. So for the nutrition section, prior to the call, all of my clients will send me an updated calorie tracking spreadsheet, which, if you don't know, I have linked in every single one of my YouTube videos. So you can go ahead down in the description box, click that, download it for free. I don't even want your email. It is there to help you. But if you do become one of my clients, we will be using this spreadsheet together. If you go ahead and download the spreadsheet, you can see that I have a tab specifically dedicated for notes or comments for the week from my client. So that way they can type whatever they want in there. They can let me know how their week was going. They can ask questions in this section. And then I also have some questions that they can rank on a scale of 1 to 10. So for example, one of the questions is, how are my hunger levels? And by seeing that 1 to 10 ranking from week to week, I can get an idea of where their hunger levels are at. The first thing I do is go to this tab. I see what was going on that week, and I'll jot down anything that I saw was noticeable, or if they asked me a question within that, I'll write down the answer or start gathering some resources to help them answer that question. And then I also look at all of those questions that are ranked on the 1 to 10 basis and see if there are any noticeable changes from the last week. Maybe they didn't rank that their hunger levels changed, but maybe their sleep quality actually went down, or maybe that they ranked that their stress actually went up. Either way, I think this section of the spreadsheet is so important to me because this allows me to track things that aren't necessarily measured by the scale weight or what's on the progress and macros tab. This brings me to my next point, which is that I do then look at the progress and macros tab. So for the macros tab, you put in all of your macros for the week and it auto calculates what your average calories were. And then you can also put in your daily weigh-ins, and then that'll also get a weekly average. So from there, that will auto populate onto the progress tab. I know this sounds confusing. If you are confused, I do have a video on this that you can check out. But I think the progress tab is a really great tab because it tells me that information, as well as the client will fill out how many minutes of HIIT and list they did, how many workout or lifting sessions they had, and then that way I can get the big picture all at one glance. From all this information, we can then do one of two things. So I either A, see that we're progressing the way that we need to and we don't need to make any changes, hooray, that's great. Or after seeing all this information, maybe we're not progressing the way we need to, and then all of that information in this spreadsheet will hopefully help me pick out what variables we need to change in order to get us progressing the way we need to again. We'll get into what the workout section looks like in just 1 second, but my question of the day is, what is the biggest thing that has held you back from hiring an online personal trainer? I'm curious to know. Let me know down in the comments below, and with that, let's get back into it. So, in addition to the spreadsheet, before the coaching call, my clients will actually send over screenshots of their workouts because I have them use the Strong app. If you're unfamiliar with this app, I would highly recommend checking it out. I've been using it for over 3 years now, and all of my clients say that it's an absolute game changer. So, I did a video on this as well. You can check out the thumbnail over here, and again, I'll link that somewhere up there. You can go ahead, check that out, and download it for free. I think you get like 3 free workouts, and then after that, if you want to save more, you can upgrade to premium, and in my opinion, it is well worth it. Part of my coaching program is coming up with a custom workout for the client that they're going to enjoy doing in the gym, but I also monitor the workouts from week to week to make sure that not only are we progressing on the nutrition front, that we're also progressing in the gym and actually training as hard as we need to be training to get the results that we want to see. I mainly look at the compound lifts they're doing, so I want to see one of two things: either we added weight to the bar or that we added reps. And I also look at the RPE, so the clients rank how hard that set was on a scale of 1 to 10, and all of that information again tells me that they are training hard enough in the gym and progressing the way that we need to progress. I'd say almost all of my clients that have worked with me have made amazing progress on their compound lifts solely because of using this app and starting to actually track the weight and reps that they are doing. When we're talking about workout stuff, the clients can also ask questions about form, or maybe they want an exercise substitution just in case someone is on the Smith machine and maybe they need the Smith machine, or just little examples like that. So whatever they want to talk about in the gym, that would be the time to do it. Then to end my check-ins, I ask if there are any other questions, comments, concerns before what we do at the final part of the check-in. And what we do at the very end of the check-in is that I will ask the client what's one thing that they felt they did well the last week, and what is one thing they feel that they need to improve on for the upcoming week. I feel like this is a good way to get the client to give themselves a pat on the back, because oftentimes this is a lot of hard work, right? Losing weight or putting on muscle is no easy feat. So you're putting in the work, but if you're telling yourself what you did well, I feel like that's more impactful. And the same thing with coming up with something that you feel like you need to work on, because it forces the clients to actually do some self-reflection rather than me just telling them what to do. After the check-in, I then go into the coach's notes tab and I put little bullet points from the check-in. So whatever I wrote down both pre-check-in and during the check-in, I will include in that section, as well as any updates to macros or calories that we're going to do for the upcoming week. Now, here's an example of what an actual check-in looks like. So this is with my client Eli. He gave me permission to actually film this so I could put it on YouTube. So if you're watching, Eli, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But here's what the check-in looks like. I hope you enjoy. To start off, I just want to say, saw that you ended up losing 0.9 pounds despite having a deload this week and having higher calories. So
Yeah.
congratulations. I wanted to see how you feel about that.
Good. Yeah. It felt nice to see that, like, even like I don't think my workout, like, because I like minus the set, so I wasn't like
Yeah.
burnt, and I know
Yeah.
you say like with the watch, it's not really like, you
Mm.
know, totally accurate, but it definitely was like smaller,
Yeah,
like
you could tell that was lower.
calorie burns or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, it felt good. And even like a deload, yeah, it felt good to actually like still lose weight too. So I was like, I don't
Yep.
know, it felt nice.
Yeah, I was excited to see that when I opened the spreadsheet. Just like, because yeah, you figure like you're not being as active, so like that might have had somewhat of an impact. But to see that
Hmm.
we're still progressing the way that we need to, I think that was great to see, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it made you feel great as well. I also want to congratulate you on crushing the macros again. So I think this is like the third week in a row that you've just been like super on point. So I feel like you're doing a great job on that front. And I just want to see, do you feel like you are at that point where it's time to like starting to get easier for you and like not as stressful, I guess, as it was at the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not as like overwhelmed by the whole situation. Like it's
Mhm.
not as like hard to, I don't know, like the stress of like tracking everything isn't doesn't overwhelm me like it did like right at the beginning. So
Yep.
I think for me, like that was a really big part. It was like refreshing to be like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like I felt like confident, like, oh, I can meet this goal this
Nice.
week. And like it might be lower one day, but I can bring it back up the other day. Or like
Yep.
as long as I
Balance it
continue
out.
to, yeah, put everything in every day, I can see where I'm at. So
Yep. How are you currently feeling at this level of calories? Because I know we talked about last week where we were sort of doing the conservative reverse and doing like,
mhm,
2 to 3% increase. And I think we
mhm,
had said if you end up losing weight, it might be a good idea to go somewhere between 4 and 5%, just sort of like
mhm.
increase a little bit more aggressively because we are losing weight on this. So I was just curious, I saw that you ranked your hunger a little bit lower. So I just wanted to see like where you're at as far as like the amount of food that you're eating, I guess.
I mean, I felt pretty good. I think I was less hungry this week than I was the week before. Like the week before when we went up, I think the first time, I think I was like a little like, oh, trying like, having to control it more. This time I was like, I felt good. Like I feel like I always can eat more in a day than,
Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like I'd be down to it's because I'm losing weight on this, so I'd be curious to see like what happens like if
Yep.
we did increase it more. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think that would be the goal because like something else that I jotted down too was that in week 4 we had gone through and using your data, we both did a predicted maintenance and then like what your actual maintenance was using the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you used for tracking the first couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 2,900 versus 2,400. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're eating 2,400, which suggests that that's not your maintenance because you're losing weight on that amount of calories,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. So I think either next week or maybe like in the near future, what we can do is sort of do that exercise again and just make sure, because like ultimately the end goal of the reverse would be to get your actual maintenance calories to actually match what the predicted is telling you. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it is trending in that direction. And I think by taking these like a little bit more aggressive increases each week is going to get us there a little bit faster.
Okay.
So do you feel okay with like 4%? I feel like that's not super aggressive, but that does put us like just in the low end of like what would be considered a moderate reverse. So 4% would be about 100 calories added to the weekly.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm down. Yeah.
So right now we're currently at 170 protein. So do you have a preference on whether or not you want to add that to carbs or fats? Because we've been doing carbs so far. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to do like a little bit to fat and then some carbs too, or if you just want to keep the fat where it is and add carbs, I think it's going to be up to you as far as what do you feel will be easiest to eat another 100 calories of.
Uh,
Because it looks like the last couple of weeks your fat has been like pretty consistent around 80.
yeah, fat usually is pretty consistent. I try not to do like too much fatty things, like
Mm.
so. Uh, mm, I mean, carbs is always like an easier one.
Mm.
So, but maybe like we could do like, could we do like 5 grams to fats and the rest in carbs?
Yep.
Or,
Yeah. So let me plug this in. I think what we can do is if we go from 255 to 270 for carbs, so what's
mm-hmm.
that, 15 grams, and then 5 grams of fat, that puts us up 100 grams, or sorry, 100 calories total.
Okay.
So I think that would be good. I'll save that and I can send that to you after the check-in. But yeah, I'm excited to see because if we do this increase and then you're still losing it that way, that's like, a really great indicator because that's like, you're revving your metabolism up to the point where like, we're increasing calories so much and you're still going to lose weight. So I'm excited to see, what happens in the near future here.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to ask nutrition wise was how was the fruit intake this week? Because we said that that's one thing that we wanted to improve last week. So were you a little bit more conscious of it this week?
Yeah, I did like 6 out of 7.
Okay.
I actually ate an orange this week for like the
Ooh, my
first time.
favorite.
Yeah.
Love me some
It was
oranges.
a really, felt really brave doing that.
Branching out.
Yeah, I ate an orange. I tried a banana this week and I really hated a banana. I don't
Really?
know.
Was it
I mean,
just
like,
plain banana though?
yeah,
No,
just
no
plain
peanut
banana. Like,
butter, no honey or anything.
yeah. I
Okay.
don't know. Something
Yeah.
about banana by itself. Like, I usually don't eat banana by itself, and I like bananas, but not by itself. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, it's like chalky.
I was gonna say,
to
I
me.
usually, if I do like a banana or apple in the morning, I usually have like peanut butter or something with it to sort of like give it a little extra oomph.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes raw banana or like just
Mm-hmm.
banana on its own can be a little So that's it for nutrition. As far as lifting goes, I would say that you executed the deload perfectly. I mean, you texted me one day to ask how things were going and if you're doing it correctly, and said yes. But I was just curious to know more. Like, how did you feel going through it?
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, I really like. I think the biggest takeaway for me was like kind of regrounding in form in a sense. Like,
Mm.
so I like felt good, and I felt like I really was like working through like the contractions, and
Yep.
so for me, it was good in that sense. And I still felt like I got like a pretty decent pump, like even from just
Yeah.
from taking it down, and like so I think that felt good too.
do your fatigue levels feel a little bit better? Because I remember at the end of the last check-in and last week, you were saying that you kind of felt a little bit run down. So do you feel like, even though you're hitting those workouts, like you feel a little bit better recovered and like ready to get back into it next week?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I felt like I could like there was points where I was like, oh, I wish I was lifting heavy, but you know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's tough, especially when like you're used to lifting that heavy too. And like I feel like
yeah,
also
yeah,
if you go at the same time as other people and they know like what you're capable of lifting, and then they
yeah.
see you lifting less and they're just like, what's going on this week or
Right.
something like.
Well, exactly. Like too, and then you're like, oh, like you get a bench, and you're like, oh, I just need the bench for like 2 sets.
Yeah,
They're like, people are like, what?
yeah.
Like,
What are you doing?
yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I think it's a good thing to incorporate.
Hmm.
So one thing I did want to say, I noted that I think it was incline or dumbbell bench press. That one of your sets you did hit an RPE 10, but then after that you sort of back down to like 8.5, which is good. I'd say for the deload, you definitely don't want to be training to an RPE 10, even though it is lighter weight, because again, it's
Oh,
just sort of to like, I guess avoid the fatigue buildup. And if you're going to train to absolute failure, it's like kind of avoiding that. But I think what you did as far as that exercise goes was fine.
yeah. I didn't actually like put any of the. I don't know if you want to cut this out, but I didn't
Okay.
actually put any of the like RPEs. They all were the same from last week. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
So that's I didn't because I didn't
That's
think
all
it
good.
I didn't think it mattered this week because it was just like a deload. So
Okay.
and I realized like after that I was like, what are these tens at the end of this thing? And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I sent them to you and I was like looking at it and I was like, oh, I think these are the RPEs. And I was like, I didn't do any of that this week. So I was like, because I thought it only mattered with like when you went bigger. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
don't
that's
know.
all good. Well,
Yeah.
that's okay. I was giving the coaching point on it, but oh
Yeah.
well. No, that's fine. I'll keep it in. I think people will get
Yeah.
a little
Keep it in.
chuckle out
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as deloads go, I would say it's definitely something that would be good to incorporate. Like I'd say every 6 to 8 weeks is a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
You can take them a little bit more frequently if it is getting to a point where like you're feeling the way that you were feeling last week.
Hmm.
Especially like if you're deep into a cut or something, and let's say like you take one every fifth week or something, like a little bit on the shorter side, just to like err on the side of caution and make sure that you're actually properly recovering.
Hmm.
But I think we might, depending on, yeah, because we're in week 10 now. So we'll see how you're feeling. We might be able to go the next 6 weeks without one. But if you're feeling run down again at some point, then maybe we can incorporate it. But
Okay.
either way, I'd say moving forward, that's like a good rule of thumb. And yeah, I'm interested to see next week, once you get back into it, definitely still try to apply the same sort of thing we've been doing, where you're either adding reps or adding weight to the bar.
Hmm.
I would guess that since you took this deload that you'll be able to do that. And, obviously that's the goal.
Hmm.
So I think we'll be getting back into that as well, but excited to see those numbers again. So do you have any other questions, comments, concerns about anything else from this week or the upcoming week?
No, I'm going back to New York on Wednesday, so I'll be
Okay.
back in the swing of things there. So,
Okay. Do you have a gym
um,
set up and all that? Like,
yeah, I
okay.
have the Equinox there, so
Okay.
that's like a way better gym than the Y.
Yeah.
So that's it'll be nice. Yeah, so that I'm excited about that, and also just I'll be walking a lot everywhere, so the
Yeah.
walks will be less like forced for me. So I'm excited for that
Yeah.
perspective. I am a little nervous, like just like going back into it, like getting back into the swing of like my own schedule,
Yep.
versus I was doing my own thing here, but I think that's like my biggest concern is like being able to,
Mhm.
maintain everything and like measure,
Yeah.
and
I
but
think
I
it
have
might take like a week or two to adjust, but
mhm,
that's something that we'll obviously work on together.
yeah,
So don't think there's anything to worry about. But I think that's
yeah,
exciting to get back into routine.
yeah. And I had so the week of the 4th of July,
Yes.
well, I'm going to the beach with my family.
Okay.
So, and I don't think I'll be around a gym. So I just want to like put that on your brain. I didn't know like how we tackle that. I was just
Yep.
like thinking ahead and I was like, I'm going to have the gym Monday and Tuesday, but then Wednesday through Sunday or Monday, I won't have the gym. So
Mhm.
that's why it's just like, I don't know what.
Yeah. So we can potentially look at maybe doing like 2 full body sessions or maybe an upper lower day. So that way
Okay.
we're still sort of like hitting the workouts, but
Okay.
My philosophy around the holidays is to like enjoy that time. If you want to do some like light body weight workouts or something, like I'm not going to stop you, but I'm also not going to like require that you do something like
Okay.
that. Because I mean, I feel like, you know, you want to enjoy that holiday with time. You're not going to look back
Yeah.
10 years from now and be like, oh my goodness, like I took that 4th of July off. That really
Hmm.
derailed all my progress.
Hmm.
So I'm not as worried as about the workouts as I would be about nutrition. So that's
Okay.
something we could also talk about moving forward, just sort of like how to game plan, you know, like either macro budgets that we have room for some of the higher calorie
Hmm.
foods, or like, you know, different strategies that we can take as far as that goes. Cause I would hate to see, you know, like from Wednesday to Sunday, you're just like eating 5,000 calories a day and like sort of
Yeah.
like kind of ruin the point of the reverse.
Hmm.
But I think by that point too, especially if we keep doing this like moderate increase from week to week, you should have like plenty of calories to play with comparative to like what you were eating 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think that'll be okay. That's not a big deal. I don't see
Okay.
that being an issue.
Cool.
See it as like more of like a second deload, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like scared for a second. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like, I don't know what to tell Tyler. Like, I was like,
No,
oh, like, I
no,
was like, he's gonna be like, don't go on the vacation to me.
no,
No, at
absolutely
all.
not. I feel like there's coaches that are like that, or they're like, no, you need to find a gym, or like,
Yeah.
you know, do what you can, but like enjoy the holiday. And like I said, if you want to do a workout, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah.
But you know, the only thing I would say is don't like go super overboard and don't just be a couch potato. Like move around and, you know, try to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
somewhat active. But other
Yeah.
than that, and enjoy your time.
Yeah. We ride bikes a lot there. So that, and
Cool.
I have my like hit classes on my phone that I can do. So that's like,
Yeah, so that's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to finalize my plans here. Been brainstorming some ideas, but I want to do the same. Go plop my butt on a beach and
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah. It's like I
Real
did.
hard.
Yeah. It's always like lonely when you don't do something and you're like just hang out. Cause
Yeah.
I spent the 4th in like New York, and like
Mhm.
everyone leaves New York on the 4th. Like, I
Right.
mean, so it's for me, like, it's like I've done stuff on the 4th like 2 years in a row, but you
Mhm.
know, it's definitely more fun going somewhere like
Yeah.
just fun the beach and yeah.
Yeah. Want to see some fireworks this year? They were canceled in
Yeah.
Boston last year, so
Oh yeah,
gotta
yeah.
gotta find something. You know,
Yeah,
if
the
it's
4th
not.
was depressing.
How do
The
you have a
4th was
4th of July
depressing.
without like fireworks and like
Yeah,
cookouts and like all the classic like
yeah,
4th of July stuff?
yeah,
So yeah, it'll be nice to get back into that. But yeah, that's nice that you have that to look forward to.
yeah.
Hope
I'm
the
excited.
move goes well this upcoming
Thank
week.
you.
But before we sign off here, I'm gonna ask one thing you did well this past week, and then one thing that you want to improve on for the upcoming week.
Um, I think just like one thing I did well was like sticking to my macros and
Yep,
you know
I'd agree.
sticking following the deload correctly. I think I did both those well this week, so I was proud of that. So you know, double
Yep,
thumbs up.
exactly. What about
Um,
one thing to improve on?
mm, mm, I mean, fruit is always a big thing for me. That's like
Yep.
fruit and veggies. And maybe I don't know.
One of my suggestions would be I wouldn't necessarily say it's something to improve on, but just like once you actually do make the move back to New York, to sort of try and maintain that same sort of level of like activity and consistency, say.
Yeah.
So whether that's tracking, like let's say you're walking 20 minutes to the grocery store and back, like you can sort of still track that as like lists. Or I think we talked about in a previous check-in, like maybe tracking like step counts. So that way each day we know like, okay, we're hitting roughly like 10,000 steps, and we can
Hmm.
monitor from day to day and see like sort of what that looks like. But I think since that variable is going to be thrown into the mix, I think that's just something to be mindful of for the upcoming week.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah, I think exactly. Like just being able to maintain what I've been doing and like sticking true to that and making sure I'm eating enough and so I don't fall into the pattern of being like
Yep.
I'm not eating in the city. Like I don't know,
Mhm.
like that lose
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Have to eat.
I'll be here to hold you accountable.
Okay. Okay.
That sounds good. All right. Do we have any other stuff we want to talk about?
Not that I know of. I don't think. Yeah, I think we did everything. So yeah.
Sounds good. So I'll probably
Yeah.
clip the video there then. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Turn those notification bells on because I post new videos every single Friday and you do not want to miss when they go live. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.